Welcome into the Cowboys Report. Some news on roster moves made today by the Cowboys we'll get into. Obviously looks very different. I'm actually in Ohio for a friend's wedding this weekend, but you know how news always happens when I'm out of town. I'm actually at my parents' place right now, and I was going to do a video from my parents' basement because that'd be really funny. But my sister's actually asleep down there right now, and I didn't want to be rude and wake her up. So instead, back patio from my parents' place. So looks a lot prettier than it normally does when I do the at-home pieces. Breaking news today. I've got just enough time before I have to go for the wedding to do the video, so perfect timing. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Free videos here on the Cowboys Report when you hit that big red button every single day. It's the second video of today, so pretty great timing on that one. But there was some roster moves made today by the Cowboys that I wanted to get into. Two players go on IR. Simi Fehoko, which I think is the most intriguing of that bunch, we'll go more in depth on there, on IR with what Michael Gehlken reports is a shoulder. Rico Dowdle is going to IR, his ankle injury that he was already ruled out for this game. He goes to IR. Matt Overton, the long snapper, has been signed to the active roster from the practice squad. Obviously, we broke that down a week ago, week and a half ago, with Jake McQuaid likely out for the season. That leaves one open active roster spot, so keep that in mind. Tight end Sean McKeon and running back Malik Davis have been called up from the practice squad for game day, which I think is noteworthy in light of Jake Ferguson, Dalton Schultz. No injury designations, but they have been a bit nicked up as of late. The one that's really intriguing, especially to me, is Simi Fehoko going on injured reserve. He's been playing ahead of Jalen Tolbert. That will change. I think you'll see Tolbert active this week on game day. Fehoko was not on the injury report with any injury this week, so maybe he re-aggravated it on Friday or Saturday. Could be the old injury stash type of move from the Cowboys. In theory, James Washington is still a few weeks away, but Fehoko's going to go to IR. He will miss at least 4 games with that injury, and as I sit here filming this, nothing new or major in terms of beyond Gehlken's report of it being a shoulder. Malik Davis, that's not a huge surprise. He's going to IR with that ankle injury, Rico Dowdle's going to injury reserve with the injury. Malik Davis is the practice squad call-up for today's game. Or Sunday's game, I should say. But Fehoko's the interesting one. So give me your one-word reaction to Fehoko going on injured reserve. This will be the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, then take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know your one-word reaction to Fehoko going on IR, especially if the ad break comes here on YouTube. I'm surprised, interested, intrigued, curious, noteworthy certainly fits in there too. You have an open roster spot now. What are you plotting? What are you planning? Wouldn't be fun if they made a big blockbuster trade. I'm not going to get my hopes up for that because that's not the Cowboys' MO. Maybe you're making room for James Washington down the road. But it does free up a roster spot now for the Cowboys. I think you'll see Tolbert active on game day now with Kevontae Turpin and others you'll see out there. So it's good news on that front. I get to get, in theory, Tolbert active, but also sucks that Fehoko's going on IR. Dowdle was ruled out pretty quickly this week, so he's going to need some time there. He's been a nice player in the preseason special teams when healthy. He just hasn't always been healthy, so that's why Malik Davis gets the game day call-up. He can help you on special teams. He'll be your number 3 back. In theory, won't play that much against Philadelphia, but you don't want to just have 2 healthy backs, so you make the call for Davis there. McKeon being called up is interesting. I wonder if that means when they go with their blocking tight end sets, if McKeon's in there instead of Schultz. Schultz is battling that PCL injury in his knee. But he's still going to miss some time, or he's not going to be, I think, 100%. Kind of like Zeke last year. Wasn't quite 100% for most of the year, so we'll see in terms of how close to 100% Schultz is, but he's not on the injury report with any type of designation there, so keep that one in mind. In terms of how things relate to McKeon and Schultz. And Ferguson's a bit nicked up too. He's not on the injury report either, but he's been a bit banged up. All right, on the injury report, 3 players, CeeDee Lamb, Jason Peters, and Dak Prescott, are all labeled as questionable. Let's get to Dak first. I think Gehlken put it best. It would be a all-time move in terms of what the Cowboys would have pulled if Dak plays and starts against Philadelphia. You know, you've got the extra spot open this week from your game day inactives, but I'd be surprised if they even made Dak a backup emergency type of play. He's just not ready yet. I don't believe. Now, if this were the playoffs, a very different conversation, I think. But Dak didn't get any teamwork. You know, he was sore on Friday, which is to be expected. Everyone freaks out when they're sore. Like, you guys have all done workouts, right? First time in a while, you're a little sore. Like, that's how it works as far as I'm concerned. But Rush got all the team reps. It would be a real shock for the Cowboys, pulling the wool over the eyes of every beat reporter, every fan, every even the really sourced well beat reporters saying, nah, it's not going to happen this week. Next week against Lions, let's ride. I hope that's the case. But my potentially poor analogy is this: it's like your starting pitcher. You know he's got the fastball for 50 pitches. Does he have it for 75, 80, 90? Hopefully you're not throwing it that much, but whatever. Because it's October and it's not December or January, you want to make sure he's got it for the 85, 75 pitch count, not the full he's got it for 50 and then we're going to risk injury. It's just not worth the risk because you're 4-1, because you've had so much success with Cooper Rush. But you guys can make your predictions for me in the comments. Will Dak Prescott play? Y for yes, N for no. I would be happily shocked if he plays, but I don't think he's going to be out there. I'm typing in my N for no. Jason Peters, by the way, seems to have made a nice little recovery from his chest injury. That was initially kind of termed a potential multi-week injury. He's questionable. I know he wants to go against his old team. He had some colorful words to describe his old fan base, and I think he meant with, like, I kind of see him saying that they're effing idiots. Oh, what's YouTube? Fucking idiots. Like, I mean, like a glimmer of admiration in his eye when he says it. Like, it's there are idiots is what he's kind of saying. So I don't think that's bulletin board material, by the way. We'll see if he can go. I would like him to go because that's a really good Eagles defense this year. Finally, CeeDee Lamb is not good for the mental health, you know? It's the groin, it's the hamstring. Now it's a hip injury that he's got. He's questionable as well. Cowboys publicly, privately have said they think he's going to play against the Eagles. They think he'll be just fine. But that does worry me. So we'll monitor. I'll make note, by the way, the fact that you're putting Simi Fehoko on IR when you're already thin at wide receiver and did not call anyone else up, I think is a pretty good sign that Lamb will play and that he will, even if he's 85, 90%, whatever it is, he'll be out there. And you'll need him. Look, Darius Slay, James Bradbury having good years for Philadelphia. You need your offense to be a little bit better than what you've done, and I hope they will go with what's worked on offense, and in all honesty, it's first down passes. Those have worked really well for the Cowboys this year. So we'll keep an eye on Lamb, keep an eye on Peters. I think they'll go, or at least Lamb will. I'm not nearly as optimistic on Dak. It's okay. You're not 1-4. You're 4-1. You don't want to jeopardize the day after Christmas matchup against the Philadelphia, which would be a lot more impactful in the calendar for the October one. So don't jeopardize Dak just to rush him back. Pun intended. You can ride with Cooper, win or loss. I think we're all really happy with where the Cowboys are at in mid-October, the way things were feeling. So that's it for me today. I got to go get ready for this wedding. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already. YouTube.com/@Cowboys TV. They're changing the handles these days on YouTube. So it's youtube.com/@Cowboys TV.